Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope your day and your weekend are off to a fantastic start. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. Guys, the last 2 days, we have come this close to cashing some hit parlays. You know what? That doesn't sit right with me. I woke up feeling hungry, motivated, wanting to go ahead and cash a parlay. And I guess let's just go dive right into the recap of yesterday's picks to explain why I'm feeling this way. Now, I unfortunately don't have our normal recap screen. Apologies, that's my bad. You know, Friday's kind of hectic at the pizza shop, so I kind of slacked on that yesterday. But we do have this screen here to show you guys how yesterday's Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay went, and Jackson Holiday, cash. Xander Bogaerts, cash. Geno Suarez, cash. Jazz Chisholm, cash. Four out of 5 legs hit. The only leg that we did not cash was Ke'Bryan Hayes. 2 days in a row, a Cincinnati Red has destroyed my parlay. Needless to say, the Cincinnati Reds, they're in timeout. I'm not taking any Reds player props for at least a week. But the same thing, Thursday, we had a 4-leg parlay. 3 of them cashed. 1 of them, Andrew Abbott of the Reds, did not cash. That's 2 days in a row where we were right on the money. We just barely missed the mark. And like I said, that just doesn't sit right with me. I can't end the week off on that note. We've been 500 all week in our straight bets. We've missed 2 parlays by 1 leg. It's just not sitting right with me. Not to brag, I was at the gym this morning working on the 2026 summer body because the 2025 summer body, let's just be honest, that was a failure. We're on to next year. Was in the gym, motivated. I said, you know what? I'm going to go at it again. I'm going to, third time has to be the charm. We're going to run it back. We're going to do another parlay in today's video. Same thing as yesterday. We got a 3-leg parlay. In today's video, we're going just hits. Just hit player props only. 3 legs, so the shortest of the 3 parlays we've done so far this week. I do have a pretty good excuse because usually at the beginning of every month we do a ladder challenge. I honestly spaced out yesterday being August 1st and didn't even do that. So parlay, 3-leg parlay will be the day 1 of our August ladder challenge. As always, do a little giveaway to kick off the month of August. Comment KALO, K-A-L-O. You don't need the parlay to hit. We don't need any kind of conditions. All you have to do is comment KALO, K-A-L-O. And if the parlay, no conditions. K-A-L-O. Comment KALO down below. And we're going to pick 1 lucky commenter to win a free $25 Amazon gift card, regardless if the parlay wins or loses. So there's going to be a guaranteed winner in today's video. So comment KALO, K-A-L-O, Kalomina. Have a good month, everybody. I hope we make a lot of money in this upcoming month of August. One more time, comment KALO, K-A-L-O down below in the comment section. We're 3 minutes into this intro already. No more time to waste. Let's jump right into today's 3-leg parlay. All right, guys, jumping right over to the outlier screen. Our first leg of our 3-leg parlay. We're targeting the Dodgers-Rays game, 1:10 p.m. first pitch. Fingers crossed we don't have a repeat of yesterday where the first player prop, the early game in our parlay, loses and the rest of it doesn't matter. But our first leg is from the 1:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Freddie Freeman of the LA Dodgers to get a hit. That's all these player props, 1 hit for each of these 3 players. That's all you have to do. So Freddie Freeman, over half a hit. We are using DraftKings for today's parlay. And yes, we are using alternate lines for all 3 legs. And of course, these being alternate lines, the data is going to be on the stronger side. So last 10 game data, 90% hit rate, averaging 1.4 hits per game over the last 10 games. Look at the last 20 games. It's still a 70% hit rate, averaging 1 hit per game over the last 20 games. And if we go ahead and stretch the data out the entire 2025 season, you see a 67% hit rate on the over. So 90% last 10, 70% last 20, and 67% overall this year, averaging 1.12 hits per game overall this season. So solid numbers across the board for Freddie Freeman. The head-to-head data, 3 of the last 4 matchups versus Tampa Bay come from last season, so a little bit of outdated data. But these 2 teams did play yesterday, and Freddie Freeman actually had 2 hits last night against the Rays. We also have the insights provided by Outlier. Freddie Freeman has exceeded half a hit in 8 of his last 9 games on the road. He's averaging 1.4 hits per game across the last 9 road games. That is, of course, a nearly 90% hit rate over his last 9 road games, which obviously includes last night's game against Tampa Bay. So really good numbers across the board here for Freddie Freeman. If we scroll down below to the matchup stats, Freddie Freeman versus Drew Rasmussen, the pitcher for the Rays tonight. Only 2 plate appearances since 2018, so a very small sample size, but he does have a hit against him in one of those 2 plate appearances. And looking down below at the matchup splits, it's obvious this is a very strong matchup. Freddie Freeman, of course, one of the best hitters in baseball, having another solid year, and versus right-handed pitchers like Drew Rasmussen, he's been even better this year. Batting average, BABIP, hard hitting percentage, WRC+, you see increases in all 4 of those key categories, which obviously is very good for us with this player prop. And Drew Rasmussen, who is having a very strong year with the Rays, his one weak area is versus left-handed batters like Freddie Freeman. You see the batting average, the BABIP, the ERA, they all increase when facing off with left-handed batters. At 246 batting average allowed is what I'm really focusing on here in this player prop. And if you were to look at the last 30 game data, it's still very similar for Freddie Freeman. He's still hitting very well off of right-handed pitchers overall this year and over the last month. So good numbers here. And to wrap this player prop up, this first leg of our 3-leg parlay, we're looking at Freddie Freeman versus Drew Rasmussen's pitch arsenal, which obviously is a very important factor when looking at hits for players. Freddie Freeman has a 366 WOBA overall this year. Now, Drew Rasmussen, his number 1 pitch is the fastball. 33.7% of his pitches this year have been fastballs. Looking at Freddie Freeman versus the fastball, 365 WOBA, which I know it shows red, but literally his average is 366. So that's his average. It's average for him. That's good. Next up is the cutter. 31.2% of his pitches are cutters. Freddie Freeman versus the cutter, 450 WOBA. A nice solid increase there. The third pitch, the sinker, 24.6% of his pitches. Freddie Freeman, 370 WOBA. A little bit above his average. So really good numbers. And then, you get to the slider, which is only 5% of his pitches. Freddie Freeman, 342, which is a decrease from his average, but still on the higher side in terms of WOBA averages. So really good numbers across the board here for Freddie Freeman. He's a pretty reliable guy, especially when it comes to these hit props. Almost 70% last year overall, almost 70% this year overall. So I like this a lot as the first leg of our 3-leg parlay. Moving right along here, guys, the second leg of our 3-leg parlay. We're moving on to the Astros-Red Sox game, 4:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Alex Bregman of the Boston Red Sox over half a hit. Now, this one is very juiced on DraftKings. I typically try not to go over minus 275. This one is minus 310 on DraftKings, which I don't really love, but the data is so strong, the matchup is so solid, I had to go ahead and take this player prop. So Alex Bregman, all he has to do is get 1 hit and he cashes the over. He's got a 90% hit rate over his last 10 games, and you do see a healthy mix of multi-hit games in that 10-game data range. He's averaging 1.3 hits per game over his last 10. You go ahead and you stretch that data out to the last 20 games, still very solid, an 80% hit rate, averaging 1 hit per game over his last 20 games. And then overall in 2025, he's got a 72% hit rate on the season, averaging 1.15 hits per game this year. Granted, he's only played 65 games, a little bit smaller than some of the other players. He missed some time with injury, but he's been very solid all year long. 90% last 10, 80% last 20, 72% overall this year. And even the last 5 games, you see a 100% hit rate, averaging 1.8 hits per game. Obviously, Alex Bregman versus the Astros. This is his former team, so a little bit of an extra motivation for him playing against the Astros here. He did have 2 hits last night against Houston. Was a thrilling walk-off win for Boston. And look at the head-to-head data. That was the first time he played the Astros since joining Boston. He had 2 hits, so this is only the second time he's playing his former team since joining the Red Sox. So it's a pretty good matchup for Bregman. Again, he's going to have the extra motivation factor going up against his former team. We're not going to look at the insight because that's obviously looking at 1.5 hits. That's not the line we have. We have just over half a hit here. And scrolling down below to the key matchup stats, Alex Bregman having a fantastic season with the Boston Red Sox. I wish the Red Sox would get their own heads out of their asses and give the man a damn extension. They flunked at the trade deadline. They flunked overall this year when it comes to adding players and trading players. I wish they would just give Bregman an extension already. They haven't. It's just a frustrating part of this Red Sox team and being a Red Sox fan in 2025, but that's besides the point. Bregman hitting the ball very well in Boston, 301 batting average. You can see the numbers clearly for yourself. They're having a fantastic season in Boston. And it gets even better when he faces off with left-handed pitchers, okay? The batting average, massive jump to 367, BABIP, hard hitting percentage, WRC+, all solid increases in each of those key categories here. And then looking at Colton Gordon, the pitcher for the Astros, not having the best of years. And honestly, it gets a little bit worse when he faces off with right-handed batters like Bregman. That 302 batting average overall is already bad to begin with. It increases to 309 when facing off with right-handed batters like Bregman. The ERA jumps up, the FIP jumps up. His BABIP does drop a little bit, but overall you can see he struggles a lot more versus righties than he does lefty. And again, looking down below at Alex Bregman versus Cotton Gordon, the pitch arsenal. So Gordon very heavily relies on the fastball here. Almost 41% of his pitches in 2025 have been fastballs. Now, Alex Bregman overall a 394 WOBA on the season. Versus the fastball, it does drop a little bit, okay, to 382. But like we talked about with the last player prop, 382 is still a very high WOBA. So yes, it's a decrease. But even at the decrease line, I like it a lot for Alex Bregman. Moving along to the next one, the slider, okay, 30.8% of his pitches. Yes, again, you still see red. It's still below his average. But 342 WOBA is still a very high number. So maybe it's not his best pitch that he's faced this year, but he's still very efficient against that pitch. And then curveball, massive jump to 527, sinker 434, and changeup 402. Those are on the lower end of his pitch arsenal. Obviously, fastball and slider is what Gordon is utilizing the most. And like I said, yes, Bregman, his average is 394. Those are below his average. But 342 WOBA, and especially the 382 WOBA, those are not bad marks at all for Bregman. So I think it's a pretty solid matchup. Again, he's been hitting the ball very well all year. The extra motivation of going up against his former team. I like the spot a lot for Bregman as the second leg of our 3-leg parlay. By the way, guys, if you like any of the data that you've seen in this video so far, it's all brought to you by Outlier, the sponsor of today's video. We do offer a special link in the description that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to go ahead and check it out for yourself. Outlier, it truly is the best sports betting tool on the market. I use it for each and every single player prop video I do here on the channel. Honestly, I think every single video I do on the channel, I utilize Outliers. So go ahead and check it out. It makes you a better sports bettor. You're going to want it by your side, especially, MLB's in full swing. You got football on the horizon. You're going to want to have it by your side. So go ahead and check it out. Link down below in the description. 7-day free trial. Thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video and all my player prop videos here on the channel. And wrapping things up, guys, the third and final leg of today's parlay. We're moving on to Diamondbacks Athletics, 10:05 p.m. first pitch. We're going with the rookie phenom here, Nick Kurtz of the Athletics, over half a hit. Again, a little bit of a juice line here, minus 255. The odds have not been the best in this video. I would have liked them to be a little better, but I'm going to be able to sacrifice a little bit of value for player props that I really, really love. 80% hit rate over his last 10 games. He's averaging 1.7 hits per game over his last 10. Obviously, we all know about that July 25th game where he had 6 hits and 4 home runs against the Astros. Obviously, a phenomenal performance. But this is not just a one game or even a recent thing. He's been solid all year long for the Athletics. Stretch the data out to the last 20 games. An 80% hit rate, averaging 1.6 hits per game over his last 20 games. And you do see a lot of multi-hit games in there for Nick Kurtz. Not just the 6-hit game, a lot of 2-hit games, some 3-hit games in there. Like I said, he's been phenomenal all year long for the Athletics. And if you do go ahead and stretch the data out the entire season view for Nick Kurtz, a 69, we'll go ahead and pause for the applause, 69% hit rate on the season for Nick Kurtz. 49 out of 71 games this year, he's cashed the over, averaging 1.08 hits per game this season. So like I said, phenomenal numbers all year long for Nick Kurtz. And even look at the head-to-head data here. Now, very small sample size. He did play Arizona last night, but he did get a hit in that game last night versus the Diamondbacks. So pretty good numbers across the board here. And again, for minus 255, you would hope the data is going to be pretty strong. The insights provided by Outlier do not fail, though, here. Nick Kurtz has exceeded half a hit in 15 of his last 17 games in general. He's averaging 1.8 hits per game over the last 17 games. It's an 88% hit rate. He has been phenomenal over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. He's been unbelievable for the A's. So really solid numbers here, really solid run. And we look down below here to the key matchup stats. Again, Nick Kurtz having an incredible season. Versus right-handed pitchers, though, it gets even better. You see steady increases in all of his data points. They're not just a little bit of increases, major increases. 302 batting average to 342. WRC plus goes from 178.7 to 18.2. The BABIP goes from 372 to 425. So really good numbers across the board here for Nick Kurtz. And going up against Zach Gallen, the pitcher for the Diamondbacks, not having a great year, to be honest. And honestly, versus left-handed batters like Nick Kurtz, it doesn't get much better for him. The Diamondbacks obviously were in seller mode at the trade deadline. This team that 2 years ago was in the World Series has sort of fallen apart here. And Zach Gallen, batting average allowed jumps to 277. The BABIP jumps to 316. His ERA actually does drop a little bit versus left-handed batters, but most of these key categories, you do see increases in his numbers, which obviously is very good for us. And the Diamondbacks bullpen is not that great either. So even if Gallen gets pulled, I expect Nick Kurtz to go ahead and get a hit here. Looking down below, Nick Kurtz, 433 WOBA this year. Unbelievable numbers. Zach Gallen, his most utilized pitch, fastball, 46.5% of his pitches. Nick Kurtz, 474 WOBA. Curveball, second most utilized pitch, 24.6%. It is a decrease, but still 400 WOBA. That's better than anything that Alex Bregman basically had. That's a lower number for him. Change up, well, now you're down to 14%, 418. Again, still a decrease, but 418 WOBA is an incredible number. And then, go to the lower end, cutter, 446. Slider 422 and sinker 42, but again, these ones less than 10% on those last three. But the key thing here is the fastball, which is almost half of his pitches, 474, and even the curveball, even though it decreased 400 WOBA, is still very solid. And honestly, it's very funny because if we go to the dashboard screen here over on GuyBostonSports.com and we scroll over here to the last month, just the last 30 days, and Nick Kurtz, he's batting .517 versus right-handed pitchers with a 1.772 OPS over the last 30 days. Obviously, that 6-hit performance definitely helps juice the numbers a little bit. But again, he's having an incredible year. He's been incredible the last month. So a really solid player prop here, a guy you definitely want on your side when betting a hit parlay. So that's the third and final leg of today's parlay. All right, guys, so quick recap here. Alex Bregman over half a hit. We got Freddie Freeman over half a hit and Nick Kurtz over half a hit. So 3 legs. All they have to do for each player is just get 1 hit and they cash the over. We're using DraftKings where they have all 3 legs available. It's plus 166. Not the craziest odds. It's not going to win you a ton of money unless you put a lot of money down. But it is still plus money. It's very good value here considering the players we have and the odds we have with the data and whatnot. So pretty solid parlay to close out the week. And again, this is day 1 of our August ladder challenge. So if we win this parlay today, we'll take the money from today's profit and put it on Monday, because I obviously don't do videos on Sundays. We'll put it on Monday's parlay. But regardless if we win or lose today, we will be back on Monday no matter what. So hopefully we win so we get the ladder challenge going a little bit. So far this year, MLB ladder challenges have not been that successful. I think in April, I want to say we made it at least past the first day, but it has not been a huge success this year. NBA, obviously, we had some pretty good runs. Hoping that we turn that around here. Hopefully the August ladder challenge is a lot more successful. The goal is to go 7 consecutive days cashing parlays. Let's get 1 day first, and we'll go from there. But, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. Make sure, if you haven't already, to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Like I said, I will be back on Monday with another MLB Player Prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your weekend, have some fun, and more importantly, let's go ahead and make some money. Have a good one, guys.